Now I invite the Secretary General to bring us his remarks.
Your Excellency Archbishop Chillicott, Your Excellency Bishop Dennis Sullivan, Pastor Robbins, Your Excellency Mr. Nasir Abdulaziz Al-Nasser, President of the General Assembly, religious leaders, Excellencies, members of the UN Diplomatic Corps, dear friends in the faith community, we meet just one day after a solemn anniversary. 10 years ago yesterday, like many of you, I was in New York when this city was attacked. At the time, I was the Chief of Staff to the incoming President of the United Nations General Assembly, Dr. Han Sung-soo. On that morning, we were together at a prayer breakfast at the United Nations headquarters. A Columbia University professor, in his talk to the diplomatic corps, emphasized the importance of reconciliation. Ironically, the terrorists were at the very moment attacking the World Trade Center, attacking the core values of the United Nations: peace, freedom, justice, reconciliation, and human rights. The General Assembly was not able to elect its president that day, leaving a leadership vacuum for the first time in the 56-year history of the United Nations. By September 12th, the following day, the General Assembly was able to elect its new president, Dr. Han Sung-soo, under tight security and concerns. There were many questions and almost no answers, but we were certain of the one fact: the international community was united in solidarity with the victims and their families and the people of the United States and fighting against terrorism. The city was shrouded in mourning. The UN itself was surrounded by a fortress of police and military. It was difficult to cross the street, let alone enter the building. But the palpable fear only added urgency to our mission. We knew we had to act. That same day, the General Assembly met under extremely tight security and adopted a strong resolution condemning the terrorist attacks and asking the international community to unite to fight terrorism. We all supported action against the perpetrators and any states helping them. We stood shoulder to shoulder as representatives of governments from around the world to denounce the merciless attackers who had destroyed so many lives and who were trying to destroy the sacred value of peace that the United Nations was created to uphold. The members of the Security Council, meanwhile, rose to their feet when they voted to show their determined support for the resolution condemning the attacks. Over the decade since September 11, the power of religion and interfaith dialogue has helped the United Nations to counter extremism and hate. Imams and rabbis, priests and nuns, bishops and believers have all been an enormous force for progress. Our Alliance of Civilizations initiative has brought together great thinkers from the world's major religions to help counter hatred with a dialogue and extremism with moderation. In 2006, the United Nations adopted by consensus the first ever global counterterrorism strategy. We have been working hard to implement this strategy ever since. We are pushing for states to adhere to a series of anti-terrorism treaties that the United Nations helped to draft. And we are standing with the victims of terrorism and working to make sure that their voices are heard in the global debate. Our friends and the faith community have been central to this campaign. You have also helped in so many other areas where the United Nations is determined to advance the human conditions. As we are going to begin the 66th session of the General Assembly of the United Nations, I would like to express my deepest appreciation and congratulations to His Excellency Ambassador Al-Nasser, the President of the General Assembly, for his leadership in charting all these difficult challenges, ending violence against women, fighting against terrorism, promoting disarmament, fighting for justice and human rights, and advancing the cause of dignity and opportunity for all people. I deeply appreciate your many contributions and especially the profound perspective you bring to our work. I'm grateful for your compassionate influence on so many people. I thank you for your activism, your wisdom, and your prayers. This is a time of tremendous tumult, but also potential promise. Leaders from around the world are right now preparing to travel to New York to meet at the United Nations. On the eve of this important General Assembly session, we count on you to inspire, to enlighten, and to instill in all of us the sense of greater purpose that must guide our mission for peace. And I thank you very much.